Do you guys know about Mercury 7? If you know, you know. It's become a very popular reverb pedal from Meris. There's an effects version of Mercury 7. There's also a modular version, which I had the chance of trying out a few months back, and it's great. It sounds really dense in a good way. Mercury X is at its heart Mercury 7, but it's exploded into 8 different custom reverbs in a modular form. Also, another Meris comparison, you might notice that this looks pretty much identical in shape and just designed to LVX. Their granular delay pedal, which does a lot more than just granular delay. Same thing with Mercury X, it does a lot more than just reverb. And just to give you a visual comparison to this, it is literally looks the exact same. Pedals with screens have higher IQ, so the downside is that you're gonna have to do a lot more menu diving. But at the same time, it's just cool to see what you're doing, like all of the steps that you're taking to sculpt, and just having a fuller, more complete understanding of how to do that. Let's go through a basic rundown of Mercury X. As I mentioned, it goes way beyond being just a reverb pedal. First off, I'm going to press this encoder. We're on the reverb parameter. I have a bunch of different structures to choose from, just with the reverb. So each of these, hopefully you can see them, have their own characteristic. For starters, let's just get a basic idea of what each of these structures sound like. Starting with Prism. Turning that mix knob up. A bit less decay on that maybe. This one's an insane gravity. Whoa. Bring some lows into this through the OP-1. Spring. Full mix. With this particular preset 78 mood, I'm able to EQ the reverb as well. So right, each of these different reverbs has different presets to work with. Take out some of that bass, add some treble, some treble. Take out the lows again. So this is just looking at the first page of parameters. This is the reverb page. If I scroll over to the right, there's also dynamics. In this particular preset, there's nothing here yet. There's preamp as well, nothing there. Filter, pitch, modulate, as well as mix, modifiers, and also expression. Lots to work with, kind of menu divey. That's what you're getting into with Mercury X. If you're interested in any of the gear listed in this video, I encourage you to use the affiliate links in the description. If you do end up purchasing, I make a small kickback from that sale. It helps me so much, so please use the links. Full disclosure that Meris sent me this pedal pre-release, but they are in no way shaping this video or dictating what I want to say in this video. This is like a no strings attached type deal. They are not sponsoring this video in any way. This video is, however, sponsored by DistroKid. If you are an independent artist or producer who's looking to release your own music, but you don't want to pay too much money in the process, go with DistroKid. They're top of the line, also the most affordable music distribution platform out there. We'll be getting into reasons why I think they're ideal later in this video. We'll start by just putting something ambient sounding together with the OP-1 field, which is very easy to do. Gonna look for the voltage synth, which is right here. Gonna head over to sequencer, hit the arpeggio sequencer. I'm gonna select the hold function here, and I'm gonna plug in a C major 7 chord. Let's do it. Are there any effects on this? No, perfect. So that's our sound. If we wanna tweak this a little bit. And so just like that, I have a starting point. Hit shift. Basically on any sequencer, if you hit shift, it'll open up like the quote unquote hidden features. They're not so hidden. Type, so I'm gonna change the type. So that changes the direction or the notes that it play in the arpeggio. I can also change the note length if I want longer notes. Something like this, maybe go up the octave. And I will stay down the octave. Type, this is my favorite type here, I would say 2. Because it's not quite as diatonic. It adds in some neighboring notes that sound chromatic and almost atonal in a way. And now we could dive into LVX and play with this reverb. I usually like to start with the preset that I like, so I'm gonna head over to 11 because I know I like this one. It's called Vector. Turn that on, and this is what we get. Just looking at the other parameters within this setting, dispersion is at 100%. Distance, more distant reverb perhaps. Bring this decay volume up. Size. It's kind of funny because this page here is very similar to the mother reverb on the OP-1. Let's head back over into Mercury X settings though. I'm gonna head over to modulation right here. I'd like to add some vibrato to this just to see what that does. Bring down the speed of that vibrato. Depth, I really want to hear this, so I'm going to bring it up to 100%. Stepping into like this quirky kind of horror movie vibe sort of thing, I'm going to bring this back down. So that's without. Turn the depth back up. What if I switch that out to something completely different? Tremolo hazy, what's that? Ooh, interesting. Cool. Decimate. Let's wipe this slate clean. That's cool. We're gonna go to a completely different preset called Chant. This is actually just one preset over. It's another very cool ambient sort of thing. And just to change the riff up a little bit, I'm actually gonna speed up the tempo, or actually the subdivision of these notes. So now we're gonna get eighth notes. They're gonna play twice as fast. And I'll enter in a different chord. So let's make this a B flat 9 chord. Here we go. And this time I'm actually going to change this to type 1 so that it's completely diatonic. Bring it up an octave. So just alone, just like that, it sounds great. I don't want to change this too much. I like all of these settings. The only thing I'm going to do, head over to pitch. Let's add this. There's several different pitch types to choose from here, and the cool thing is that a lot of them have like a left and right mix. Let's run through a few of these. I mean, we gotta start with lo-fi, see what this gives us. We'll bring that mix up. Right, so it's subtle. What if I just... So that's with the pitch if I get rid of it. And let me add it back. So then I'll change the semitones on the left and the right. So let's just go up a full octave on... No, actually, you know what? We're going to go up a perfect fifth, which is 7 semitones. And then down a perfect fifth on this one. That's what it gives us. Let's hear it. Location. Pre and dry. So that, very interesting. Right, so now we're just hearing it in the reverb. Ooh, feedback loop. Let's see what happens if we switch this pitch type out completely to microshift, which also has a left and right option. But now we're dealing with cents as opposed to semitones, so we're getting into some microtonal territory. Location. Let's change this to pre and dry so we can really hear the difference in that pitch. Right, so at this point it is pitch, but it pretty much sounds like modulation. Bring the mix up. Just a hint of that. So I want to take a second to just talk about like the design of the Mercury X, which I think is worth mentioning. As I mentioned earlier, the LVX has pretty much the exact same like workflow and design, and they've brought that right into the Mercury X. I like that they did that because this it works. Thus far, I've really been menu diving into my parts, but you don't necessarily have to do that. As for your on-the-surface hands-on controls, you have decay, pre-delay, modulation, mix. And then depending on the preset that you're on, so let's say I'll go to stretch. In this case, I have tilt EQ, I'm controlling that. I could also change the structure, which in turn will change this preset once again, depending on the structure that I'm on. So that's for this particular preset. If I jump to a different one, let's say spring, now I have a completely different set of parameters on the surface. And I think that this is a really important thing to mention, especially when working with a more complex pedal like this. The workflow or audio flow of the pedal that you're using is almost as important as the sounds themselves. So on top of being able to really dive into your sounds and sculpt yourself, you have like your, I would call them performance knobs, right? So just the things that are on the surface. This is also an expressive pedal, so if you wanted to, you could source your controls to a MIDI controller and have a lot more access to the pedal on the surface of that MIDI controller. The OP-1 sampler is the next thing we're gonna take a look at. I find that there's so many vibey samples in here. These are all stock, by the way. They're very unique, and I find that they just work so well in an ambient style. Before getting into that though, let me tell you about the best music distribution platform out there, DistroKid. Are you looking for ways to distribute your own music? You can do it now using DistroKid. There is a discount linked in the description of this video, which I encourage you to use. It's just over $20 a year to release unlimited music to all major streaming platforms. The thing that makes DistroKid amazing for independent artists is just the sheer amount of free promotional tools that they offer us. There is now a DistroKid iOS app, so you can check out your stats and information on your smartphone. Personally, one of my favorite free promotional tools is Hyperfollow, which is essentially a free link and bio link. I've been using it for years now to lead people to specific pages and help fund what it is that I do. And you could claim as many Hyperfollow pages as you'd like, free of charge. Just over $20 a year to release unlimited music. You keep 100% of your streaming earnings as well, which is another great deal. If you're an independent artist, to me, it's just a no-brainer. Join the team. There's over 1 million users using DistroKid. There's some really interesting samples here that in particular, when you pitch them down, they are just such a vibe. That plus reverb from Mercury X, Ambient City. There's one sample called, where is it? Soft Flux, that's the one. Gonna head over to the Endless Sequencer. Hold. So this one actually also has reverb on it already. We're gonna pitch this down, see what happens. So now we're currently on Echo Plate preset. You know what, we're gonna switch this reverb out for Nitro because I wanna cut some of those lows out. Otherwise it's just too much. With reverb. Head over into those presets. Now I'm on pitch. Again, I'm gonna go over to lo-fi. I want some lo-fi pitch on this again. Yeah, right off the top. Yeah. I'm gonna bring this up as well, this pitch of the octave. Yeah. So without, okay, so the pitch stays there, interesting. And then if I turn up the reverb, we get the reverb as well. If I didn't want the pitch to stay there, I could put it in post. And now if I bring this down, there goes the pitch. And there it comes back. Back to modulation. We haven't really played with, where is it? With the reverb yet. So modulate, sorry, not reverb, chorus. 79 chorus, let's try this. Type, depth, bring the depth up. I want to hear that chorus. Locations, post, pre and dry. I really want to hear that. Up the octave. There's a few other really cool samples in here. Love this one. Let's bring that reverb back. feels like something terrible is going to happen in a sci-fi movie. And so I think that's it. That's our exploration for today. Hopefully this was informative to you in some way about Mercury X. This is a brand new pedal. Thank you so much to Meris for sending it out to me. You'll definitely be seeing it in my other content as well. If you are interested in any of the gear mentioned in this video, use the affiliate links. It helps me a lot. Any questions or comments, please let me know in the comment section, and hope to see you soon.